Crucial conversations, comedic minds. Put them both together and what do you get? The most productive and impactful smack talking session ever. Now let's put our minds together. Yo, what's up? Crucial conversations, comedic minds. Put them both together and what do you get? The most impactful and productive smack talking session ever. What's good? All right, I'm here. I'm Valentine. Welcome to Comedic Minds. We are once again here on the scene at 8 o'clock sharp. And I'm here with Ivana.
Yes.
Corey Fernandez. Yeah. And our special guest. Me and the camera. I'm always watching the monitors. Me and our special guest, Petey Rancel. Petey Rancel. Yo, what's good? Let's get my hand, yo.
Guys? How are you?
What's up, man? Thanks for coming. So, Corey, what's good with Petey? Petey, what's up? Talk to us, man.
What's going on? Living the dream, bro. I'm out here from, I'm currently working in Atlantic City. I'm one of the resident comedians with AC Jokes. Came out to LA a little bit for about 2 weeks trying to see what this game out here has to offer. Mm-hmm. And I'm loving it.
Yeah. How long you been out here for?
13 days.
Yeah, what you been doing since you been out here?
Oh, all over.
Comedy, have you been performing?
Yes.
Okay. Well.
I got to get on stage. Shout out to the guys over at Comedy Chow every single Wednesday at Dave & Buster's on Hollywood Boulevard, 9 o'clock. Mm-hmm. They do a show over there. They let me get on their stage, and that's where I met Jacinta.
Production manager, production and casting manager.
Jacinta keeping us in check.
Yeah, she don't play.
No, she don't.
She do not play.
Yes, she definitely.
Already.
She's like Mother Goose.
She is. She don't play at all. Yeah, she's very. I think we both do very well, yin and yang when it comes to business. Okay. You know, we're both very business minded, but I'm more of a softie. But she'd be like, nah, hell no, Valentine. All right, so you know what? Tell us a joke.
Oh my God! All right,
I got a joke.
Damn, he don't waste no time.
What are the jokes you told on your when you was performing? I mean, so does it work like that? No.
Yeah, I can.
Okay,
because the thing is that a lot of people's jokes are like, no, I got to do a whole setup, this and the other. I got a couple of jokes that are quick, bang,
I'm just
bang.
messing with you. I don't really care.
Hey, I'll give you a joke.
All right, what's the joke?
I've done jokes my whole life.
It's like I do.
So I am Cuban, and my wife is Swedish. So when she found out that I was Cuban, she got real excited. She wanted to learn more about my culture. So she asked me to make her a Cuban dinner, like give her a food that was very common in Cuba. So I let her starve.
Oh, that was good. All right, that was good. I caught it. That was a shady joke, but it was good.
Yeah, that was dark.
I know. I'm like,
that was a dark one. That was good though. But that's one I would be like, oh, like
but
if I was there, I'd be like, oh.
The thing is, it
makes you think.
The comedians know that when you're in a show and you already got them on your side. When I come on stage and I'm like, yo, I know that I look like a fake ass pit bull. And everybody's like, oh, shit, he's already making fun of himself. So I can laugh at anything he comes out his mouth. So when I turn around and say that when I was a kid, I used to find straws in my mom's purse, and people are like, hey, I thought she was drinking Coke.
Oh my God!
Like
that's another good one.
So like once you got them on your side, you can make those kinds of jokes, and they're with you already. It's okay. That's why fucking you have comedians that come out there and say, "Oh, dick, pussy, fart, and once they got them on their side, they're with them.
Let's take a moment and run down some of your credits. Like some of the credits some of the things he's done. Well, he's from South Florida, no?
Yeah, I'm originally from Key West, Florida.
Key West,
yes.
Florida. How far? I mean, I don't know. How far is that from Miami?
About 3 hours, depending on traffic.
How far is it from Palm Springs?
Beach?
Palm Beach, yes.
So Palm Beach is like another. Like West Palm Beach is like another hour and some change from Miami.
Oh, okay. All right. Is it popping over there? Where you at? Where you say you were?
I live in Atlantic City now.
Oh, that's right, Jersey.
Yeah, I live in Jersey. Yeah,
how's that been so far?
Awesome.
But I know you run a comedy circuit thing out there?
I run my own career. I am one of the comedians for AC Jokes.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're ever in Atlantic City, please come check us out. We are one of the best shows that you're going to find on the East Coast. We got Gary G. Garcia, Zach Pickett, every day, 7 days a week at the Bally's Casino, 7 days a week in the Tropicana Casino. You can get your tickets right online, acjokes.com. And if you use promo code Petey, P-E-T-E-Y, it'll even get you a discount. Holla at your boy.
That's right, promo code Petey.
Yeah.
Discount. You ain't got to tell me twice.
Hey.
Petey. Discount.
Damn right. Damn right.
All right, so let me read some of your credits, okay? Because I want some of the people out there to know, yes, he is up and coming. He's not quite a vet yet, I guess you would say, but he's damn sure doing his thing. So I'm going to read it, okay, because I wrote it down. Petey has been seen on television shows such as Burn Notice on TBS and has performed both nationally and internationally. He was featured at Big Ben's Comedy Club in Stockholm, Sweden, and has performed at top-tier New York clubs such as Gotham Comedy Club and Broadway Comedy Club. Yo, should I get it? I should get a job, like, announcing you. I think I did I.
Commercials.
Yeah.
I think I did I.
I think
did I do okay?
Snickers is gonna call you, homie.
Snickers? Yo,
Yes.
Snickers money. I ain't mad at Snickers money.
Snickers money.
I
I
ain't
mean,
mad.
he read it off of a piece of paper.
Hater. I didn't stutter. I said it as if I believe. I didn't believe it, but I knew it. But yeah,
At least
man.
you read good, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, and I don't have my reading glasses on. Like, what?
That was a double accomplishment.
Okay, because I usually need my reading glasses nowadays. I'm getting old.
Same.
So, what I want to know is, I know a little bit about your journey. Like, I think, you joined the military at 18, right?
Yes.
And then after that, I think it was around 30 that you decided to get into comedy?
Yes.
Why? Why comedy?
So I was a truck driver for a little bit, and not a very successful one.
How long did you drive? What route did you? And what product?
I started off. All right. So I started off real good. I was in South Carolina, in Charleston, South Carolina, and I was there hauling containers out of a port. So I just had to pick up the containers, move them out, drop them off. Somebody picked them up and took them to North Carolina. So I was there whipping that shit like it was a Honda, because those little 20-foot trailers, and that was just my all day, and I was making pretty good money. Once that project finished, they were like, yo, you did so well with this, we don't think that you would need a partner to go on the road. Do you want to just go on the road by yourself? And me being the cocky son of a bitch that I am, I was like, oh, yeah, I got this all day. Homie, I hit a low bridge.
Yikes.
I got into 3 accidents in 2 days.
Sir.
But what's the difference of having a partner? Y'all switch up driving? Or?
No, they teach you. They're supposed to teach you. Well, I say that it was that they were like, yo, we don't think. I was the one that was really like, yo, I got this. I don't need no partner. I'm Petey. Mr. Cojonudo, my nuts drag behind me when I walk.
Oh my God.
I stepped on them bitches in the shower. I'm telling you.
Oh my God. You had a bad time. So, okay, from truck driving to comedy.
So
how did that happen?
Because I got into an accident and some shit happened,
Okay.
I got to a drop off late, and I was supposed to unload on a Friday, but because I got there late, they refused my load. So I had to wait till Monday. So I go to a truck stop, and I'm stuck there for 3 days. So I do what any smart man with a smartphone would do. I Tindered the shit out of my life. So I started swiping, and I come across this chick that we have a mutual like, and I start hitting her with all the lines. Like, yo, let's run away together. Let's make a life. Like, yo, I'm playing this shit smooth. And so I was like, look, I'm a truck driver. I'm stuck. Can you please bring me some weed?
What?
Yeah.
How far was she from you?
At least 45-minute drive.
Really?
Yeah. I was in Aberdeen. She was like by Fredericksburg. Or Frederick. She was out there.
So did she bring the weed?
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
She brought me an 8.
Let me jump. Is this now your wife?
Hell no.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm listening to the story. Go ahead.
So
Boy, I mean, he married.
I am married now. So she brings me the weed. Like, she ends up staying with me the 3 days.
Oh, wow.
Bro, like, we got a hotel room together. She took me to Baltimore and bought me Joe's Crab Shack. Like,
she really liked you.
It was
nice.
But the thing is that I gave her, I talked to her the way that I talk to myself. I was like, you got to believe you're the center of the universe. Like, I told her things that made her feel good about herself. And she actually, she bought into it, hook, line, and sinker. And she was like, "This changed my life."
Is like, nah,
she got married. She got a kid now.
Oh, she's doing better.
She's doing way better.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. She was like, "No. I don't try to leave a mess wherever I go. I try to leave a nice, neat."
I mean, at least you inspired her.
Yeah.
You know.
So
This segment was brought to you by Tinder.
Okay.
Yes. Give a big shout out to Tinder. But,
Bringing lives together.
Yeah. But hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Okay.
So,
I mean, hey, it's either Tinder or Backpage.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
He's
Backpage.
paying
that down.
He is paying for it.
Back.
No, I mean,
Oh,
I'm
my
asking.
God.
I'm asking for a friend.
Somebody call Ashton Kutcher and let him know that this dude is paying for it.
Yo, Backpage. I mean, I barely even hear people mention that, but it ain't that. But you know.
No, they actually got shut down. That's
Yeah,
why.
Oh, they
shut down
did?
now.
Look, now she's jumping in.
Oh, you know. She said, "Oh, yeah."
I already said it.
Oh,
I said it the first time. I was like, no, they're shut down.
oh my God. So I mean,
Yeah, shout out Backpage, putting in that work,
Get out.
I can't right now. I mean,
getting that work.
So, all right, how you get from?
So I was just there talking to her, just talking shit, making her laugh. And she was like, yo, you know, you should be a comedian.
Oh.
And as soon as she said it, I was like, I'm going home and I'm doing an open mic. I did one open mic. I was hooked. And I did 5 open mics in Florida. And I said, if I'm going to really do comedy, I'm going to do it. And I moved to New York.
Nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
With like,
So you just up and moved to New York when you decided you wanted to be a comedian?
well, there's a long, like, there's a backstory to that, too.
Okay.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Is it juicy?
I mean, it's
Tell us
it's
the juicy.
interesting.
Oh, tell me some of the interesting parts. What makes it interesting?
So I was only supposed to go out there
To New York.
to New York for 3 days. So I had like $300. I hopped a ride in a truck with one of my buddies. He dropped me off, and he was supposed to pick me up to take me back to Florida, but he got changed of direction, sent out west.
Oh, for his job.
Yeah, and I got kind of stuck in New York, and the comedian that was letting me crash on his floor was like, yo, if you really want to stay in New York, do it. So I had $7 on me, and 4 days worth of clothes.
You know what? Jacinta scouted you.
Yeah.
And, you know, she told me this guy got serious, like hustle mentality, that he a grinder. And when I promise you, she don't speak highly about too many people. She don't push about too much. Usually I'm the pusher, and she's trying to keep me restrained a little, like, okay, relax. We're going to do this first. Yeah, grounded. But she kept talking, so I was like, okay, I'm going to call right now. Because at first I was like, I'll talk to him. I'll see him on Monday. And she was like, no, you need to talk to him now. So when I talked to you, and then even when I got here early, we both were here early, and just talking, I was like, this dude is a real hustler. Like, you really about your grind, you know? And it's evident in your story. You know, as you tell, I'm like, damn, he really is. You know, so I'm not mad at that. I actually like it. I commend it. You know, good luck to you. You know, I pray that you get all of the desires of your heart. Because it sounds like, and it seems like you have really been, you know, just throwing it all out there, you know, going for it, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not mad at that at all. I respect it. I do the same thing, except I'm scared of being homeless. I don't want that story. I don't want that part of my story. Tyler Perry be talking about I was slept in my car, I was homeless, I was dying. For me, that's like, I can't. So I'm like praying, like, please God, don't do that to me, you know. But that, I mean, sometimes it's part of the journey. You can't help it. But I'm doing everything I can not to get that bad, you know. Like
when I moved to LA and it happened to me, I called my mother like, Mom, right on track, I'm homeless.
Oh my God. Really?
It's happening.
I'm gonna make it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Did that happen to you for real?
Yeah.
Oh my God. To me, it's like I think the scariest thing. And Jacinta is trying to tell us something. What you trying to tell us? Oh, she's telling me to let Corey lead the interview. Well, Corey need to interject.
I'm sorry. No, I don't want to.
You need to be assertive. But anyway, it's all good. Let him tell his story, and then I'll let you ask the next question.
Well, let me be assertive, goddammit.
All right.
So, like Jacinta said, can I talk now? Jacinta said I could talk now.
I'm really supposed to have the headphone on, so she had to come out here, but I realized I didn't have it. It's all good. Go ahead.
So how long you been running around now in comedy? How long has it been?
So I started doing comedy about a little over 4 years ago.
Nice. Yeah. So that was after you moved up north.
Well, I did the first open mic in Florida.
Okay.
And then it was like a month and some change later that I was in New York, because I was still driving trucks. I did a couple of open mics on the road and stuff, and then some shit led to another. I got into like 7 accidents in 5 months.
What?
Damn.
Dude, you and your accidents.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that I was like, I got arrested. I did for smoking weed in the truck.
Okay.
You want to tell all that?
Bro, I don't give a damn. I'm a comedian. I talk
I ain't mad. I don't care about.
I'll tell the truth. So yeah, I had an eighth of weed in the truck, and they got me in Tennessee.
Oh.
Wow.
And they gave me a year probation, which basically just meant I had to give the state fucking $1,500.
Yeah, you have to
That's
pay a
all
lot
that
of money.
was.
Yeah.
Isn't that so sad that we gotta do shit like
But
that?
the thing is, bro, it's crazy because every single time I got into an accident was when I wasn't high.
Gotcha.
It was
Okay.
because you have to understand, I didn't start smoking weed till I was 27 years old. This shit changed my life.
It is. It's
And
For the better, or?
For the better, bro. Before I started smoking weed, I was gonna kill me a bitch.
You know, I never smoked weed.
Saved lives.
I never drank. I never smoked weed or anything in my life. Smoked a cigarette, but I ain't gonna lie. Like
Well,
sometimes
you never
I feel
drank?
like, no, never in my
Alcohol?
life. No,
What?
nothing. So I feel like
Look at him. He's got negative 2% body fat.
Yeah, well, yeah.
listen, I've been so stressed out sometimes that I feel like I need me some edibles or something. I needed to do something for me so I could
I'm your
escape.
girl. I hook you up.
Lord have mercy. Oh my
right,
God.
all right,
We got our
all
own
right.
hope on the show.
What are you talking about? This is California, homie. You can go get it your damn self.
Yeah, but I don't do stuff like that.
Without a card.
Without a card.
And I'd be too scared to do it by myself. What if something happened? Nobody around.
What's gonna happen? You're gonna eat the rest of the food in the refrigerator?
No, I'm scared, dude. I gotta have somebody around me.
I saw you inhale 2 hot. This motherfucker snorted.
Oh, I was
2 hot
starving.
dogs.
'Cause
He
I was
snorted
starving.
2 hot dogs. Like he just, one each nostril.
I'm good.
I was starving.
Valentine's gonna be like, hey, and we'll be back right after these messages.
Okay. I was starving. Yeah, I did eat them real quick.
So get you smoke it. Look, all right. Look.
No, this ain't about me smoking
I'm not
weed.
talking about you smoking weed. I'm talking about me smoking weed.
Okay, all
'Cause
right.
look, I'm a disabled combat veteran. I got actually hit
Marines.
by an actual IED, a VBIT, a vehicle that was stacked with explosives, blew up right outside of my truck. Like right outside of my truck, no further than from me to the people that are in the engineering booth.
Damn.
And on top of that, like my dad was a cocaine dealer when I was a kid. I remember crazy shit in my house. So when I started smoking weed, that shit was medicine to me.
Mm-hmm. It is.
It saved my life.
Yeah.
So if you ever feel like, I mean, now I will say this. Too much of anything is a bad thing.
Yeah.
I be smoking and being useless as fuck. If it wasn't for the fact that I smoke as much as I do, I would own like 2/3 of Hollywood right now.
Let me ask you: does smoking weed help you to deal with the challenges that come along with pursuing a career in comedy?
No, it helps me deal with the fact that it's hard not to want to kill people when you've been trained to kill people.
Oh wow!
I get angry, bro. I get angry. And I grew up in a household where I'd see my parents slamming dishes and throwing shit. My
Me
dad
too.
fucking putting my mom through a wall. And it's all that shit has resonated inside of my brain. And like when I smoke, it calms me down and allows me to. It's allowed me to process that. And I've made leaps and bounds in my own personal growth.
Do you include this story in your comedy?
I do talk about this stuff. Yeah. I talk about, like, I do a joke where I say, growing up in my household, I don't agree with everything from the Hispanic culture. Like, growing up in my household, we used to watch a lot of boxing in the living room. My mom was 10 and 2.
Oh, wow. Damn. You know what? Your jokes would shock motherfuckers. Like, but that's what I'm talking about. Like, you guys are so... That makes you think.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That hits you and makes you think about some serious shit. And I was not expecting none of that.
But that's the thing. It's like that's the best part of a joke is you start creating a picture in one area of the brain, but then you finish it on the other side of the brain.
Yeah.
And then when those connections happen,
that's a talent.
It's an involuntary reaction.
I can't do that.
You're tickling somebody with words.
That was really good. I'm not mad. Bars, yeah.
Appreciate
that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Is that a term you guys use, or you just that was good.
That's like it's comedy bars.
Yeah. Oh, I never thought about it like that.
Dropping comedy bars.
Yeah, that's good. I'm not mad at that. That's what's up.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
So first comedy. Well, you did the open mic, right? When you went to New York.
Yes.
That was the first. Did you bomb or out or?
I played the safe route. I did a joke that I know that I heard from, like, street joke. I did a street joke. So I did a cop-out. I did a hack joke.
Are you saying you stole somebody else's joke?
No, I didn't steal
because I do hear these comedians. I'm like, didn't I just hear
that does
But here's
on
the thing,
TV?
though. If you listen to Red Fox, if you listen to Jackie the Joke Man, if you listen to a lot of these old-time comedians, that's what stand-up comedy used to be at one point, was whoever had the strongest arsenal of street jokes that were rare, you could use them. But so whenever anyone is like, "Oh, you can't do that joke because that's a street joke." Now, I don't have any jokes of mine that are street jokes.
What's the difference between a street joke and I guess I don't know what's the other jokes? Regular jokes. Oh, you mean street jokes like when motherfuckers is dissing you?
No, like
a stock joke, right?
Like a priest and a rabbi are walking down the street, and they pass by a bunch of kids playing.
No, we're good. Go ahead. Lord have mercy.
And the priest turns to the rabbi and says, "We should really fuck these kids." And the rabbi says, "Out of what?" So,
oh my God,
that's a stock street joke.
Okay,
that is
okay. But comedy minds.
But the thing is that it's like that was the first joke that came to my mind. I'm sorry. Like you shouldn't have.
What joke? I don't care.
So yeah.
Oh, you okay?
No,
she just shot.
She's a comedian, and she was like,
"I'm listening." But sometimes whenever I see other comedians and like on stage, and if this shit's shocking, I just be like, "Okay." I'm not always like, "Nah." Like sometimes it's shocking. I like being shocked. Yeah. I don't mind it.
You know, maybe this is maybe this is an example of a stock joke. I don't know, a street joke, but I actually had a bad experience and didn't go to any comedy shows until the one I saw you at. This was here in LA a couple years ago, and I went to I don't know why I ended up at this place. It was some small place, and almost nobody was there. It was like 5 people, and me and my friend were 2 of them, and then the rest of them were comedians that were performing after the next one, which is what I realized. I was like, oh, the rest of these motherfuckers is performing. They're not here to just see.
Yeah.
Anyway, this young white girl got up there, and she kept saying, she was Jewish, and she was like, fuck black people, Jews, we suffer the most. Jews, he was telling all these jokes about the Holocaust. I mean, and black people winning, and I was just like, mind you, I'm the blackest person in the room. My friend was light skinned, he black, but he light skinned, and I felt like all eyes is on me. And part of me wanted to whoop her ass. And I was like, bitch, I'll fuck you up. Because I felt like she was looking at me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, is this comedy? Or is she offending me? Because I felt like she was being offensive on purpose. And even when she walked to the stage, you could feel the tension as she walked by, like, yeah, I said it. And I was like, and then she went to talk to this dude. And I was like, I should fuck him up. Because I didn't want to hit her because she a girl. I was like, I should fuck him up. Just for what she said, I should beat his ass. But I was like, no, but it's supposed to be comedy. But I was like, no, but that bitch was offensive and she knew what she was doing.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And anyway, that pissed me off. But I'll tell another experience I had later on, actually recently, that made me feel what the antidote to that was. Because in those moments, I feel like as the audience, if I say something, I'm going to be wrong. I'm going to be the heckler, and then they're going to try to come at me, and all the comedians going to be against me because I'm supposed to be quiet and docile and and be in the audience.
Yeah.
But I went to another show recently where the comedian again. This was at Laugh Factory. The Laugh Factory Chocolate Sundays, and it was a Indian comedian, Indian guy, and he went up there. And he was telling all these black jokes about black people late and people. It was uncomfortable laugh, you know. And it wasn't just black people in the audience; it was Latinos, Asian, but it was mainly blacks. And I felt like, is this motherfucker racist? Because he only told one. You know, when you said you tell a joke about yourself is different. He only included one joke about his father being Pakistani or whatever, and getting it mixed up. Like when black people say, "Oh, you stupid," I mean they funny, but his father was thinking that they was actually stupid, and he was like, "No, Dad, it's not that." That's the only thing he said funny about in a disparaging way, and which is not really disparaging about him and his people. But everything else was degrading about black people. Well, I was sitting there mad again, and when he got off the stage, the next comedian took the mic. And he was like, do we have to be politically correct in this motherfucker? And everybody was like, no. And he was like, are you sure? He's like, no. He's like, fuck that Pakistani motherfucker coming here talking about telling black people about black people. And the whole place went up. And I felt like, yes, defend us. Check that motherfucker. Because it was very racist.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, it was some Mexicans. They was yelling, what was they yelling? 7-Eleven, Slurpee. Like, they was, but the thing was, they felt the racism coming from him, and they just was giving it back.
Yeah.
So it was two shows. When the next show came, the same lineup was performing again. He came up, he changed all the jokes. He only told one black joke, and it wasn't offensive because he realized the first time everybody, even the comedians that was at the top, because they were all separated on the top floor where I was. Even the black comedians was like looking at this motherfucker like. He felt the tension from the crowd and the comedian who. After the Indian guy went up again, he only told one black joke. The same black comedian came up right behind him and lit into his ass again. And I was like, I ain't mad. You started it, motherfucker. Anyway, that's just me.
So wait, he lights into him even when he didn't do it?
For shits and giggles this time.
He said, he started out again. We have to be politically correct in this motherfucker? And everybody's like, no. He's like, but it was a whole new crowd. Remember, the last crowd was gone.
That's what I'm trying to say. So how did it play over? I mean, they didn't even know what he was talking about.
I mean, he said one black joke, but I don't know. But he went in on him again.
They still went with it, right?
Yeah, they went with it. But
once you got that little irk in your heart for somebody, if some comedians are like that, there's a dude in New York, Smokey Suarez. He runs Mocha's on Mondays. If you're ever in New York, go to Mocha's on Monday.
Shout out Smokey
Suarez. This man has been doing it for 20 plus years, 30 years, I think. And he is one of those comedians that if you go on stage at his show and you don't bring the fire, he will bust that out.
You mean he'll come up
because he's the host.
You're the host.
And he can do that.
You're the host.
He will give fire to that ass. Now, if you take it with a grain of salt, like a comedian is supposed to, that's it. The next time he sees you, it'll be, oh, hey, what's up, homie? No. But if he sees that you get salty about it,
he's gonna do it again. He's gonna press the button even harder next time.
But that's comedy.
too.
I ain't mad.
And I think one issue, though, is to what you were saying about what the white girl was saying, is like sometimes people, they use comedy and the stage to just go up there and be racist and punch down. I think in comedy, people forget, like, there's definitely an art to it, and not everybody has that. Not everybody is able to master it. They just want to go up there and just, like, spew all types of just bigotry and dumb shit. And honestly, it's like, if somebody's on your ass twice in a row in one night, like, that's what you get, though. It's like that, too bad. Because my thing is, if you're gonna, you need to, like, stand firm in your bigotry, because you know somebody's gonna get on that ass, and if they do, like, have something else to follow up with that.
Exactly.
His jokes that he's changed to wasn't as strong as his black jokes, though.
Of course,
he wasn't as funny. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
But okay, so sorry to sidetrack the conversation.
No, you good.
But I want you to tell us some things that maybe, you know, I mean, you 4 years in the game. Yeah. Although you seem to be doing a lot. You know, I sent you a hustle in these 4 years. You doing the damn thing, and now you about to be in LA soon, like permanently.
Well,
and
bi-coastal.
Bi-coastal. All right, that's what's up. But like, what's some things that you think even newer comics or could look out for? Some things you could kind of school some people on, or some things that you think they can do to probably, you know, make their hustle stronger.
Okay.
You know,
First and foremost, everybody is all right. I know you guys have heard about this, the bringer shows, where they expect you to bring a certain amount of people to a show in order for you to get stage time. And it's usually 5 minutes. They got to buy 2 drinks, and the people that you bring end up spending $40 a pop, because they got to buy tickets and they got to buy drinks, and they have a horrible experience. Because it's a bunch of new comedians that aren't funny.
Yeah.
Bro, the best advice that I ever got in comedy was create your own lane. Create your own lane. If it's your lane, can't nobody tell you shit. And become undoubtedly funny. Because if you are undeniably funny, then you can walk up to any stage and say, I belong there. You can say it. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to get there, but you can say that you belong there. And that actually affords you the opportunity to prove to them why you belong there.
Okay. So how long did it take you, or are you still trying to find your true lane, or did you find it already, or are you still looking?
No, there's never going to be a true lane, because even when you're in traffic, you got to switch over every once in a while.
Ooh.
That's true too. Good. Look at you. Let me find out.
All right.
You're like, I may be 4 years into this comedy, but I'm deep in life.
Hello.
You 34 years, bro.
Yeah, and
I'm
with
about to be 35 next month.
Happy birthday! December what? Oh, November.
November 12th.
November 12th.
Okay.
Nice,
baby.
nice.
All right, that's what's up.
What you got planned?
Shit. I'm 35 years old. I'm sitting at the house.
Rolling a blunt. Like, happy birthday to me.
He's doing it like a 35-year-old.
Yeah, bro.
Watching my favorite shows.
I do shows every night. There's, bro, sometimes 200 people in that room. And then I'll go and I'll do another show of 180 people. So I do get my fill with people. I'm hanging out all day. I'm out there selling tickets all day, talking to people. So every chance that I get, my wife, her birthday was just big shout out to my wife, Sandra. Baby, I love you. Happy birthday.
Aww.
It was her birthday on October 12th. I took her to Joshua Tree and then to Big Bear.
Nice,
oh wow, you guys had
just
this
me and her, and we went out to dinner with a couple of close friends and family, and that's it.
Cool.
Did y'all trip out on shrooms?
I wanted to, but my wife is one of those people that she's like, I think we can enjoy this sober.
It never occurred to us, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So, any kids yet, or?
Hell no.
Oh wow.
Hell
you seem like you'd be a good dad. I thought you were gonna be like
a phenomenal father, but not until I got 6 digits behind my first behind my first one.
Okay.
I'm telling you, not until I got my first $1 million in the bank, because I am not going. Kids are an investment.
Ooh.
They are.
Kids are an investment.
I don't have any, but shit.
So expensive.
Hell yeah, and especially if you want to raise them right. Because you can raise them on McDonald's and Everlast shoes, but that's not giving a kid a life.
Yeah.
I want to take my kids to the Amazon. I want to show them the world. I don't want to show them.
I want to put them in everything: dance, school, piano. Just to window it down to see what they like and what they don't like. Like expose to everything, and then whatever they like, that's what we start narrowing it down. Yeah.
I want to give my child the option to be whatever they want to be and choose whatever sport that he's going to play.
He and the sport.
He and the sport.
No, but I do think that sometimes you got to come down on kids and give them a little guidance, because then they're just going to grow up and be that teenager that graduates from high school that's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I might take a year off. I might not. We'll see.
But there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing, bro. I was 30 years old when I figured out that I was going to do comedy. I was 30 years old. I was doing, nightlife security. I was I was salesman. I did construction. I was a horrible truck driver. I've done it all, bro. Things I can't talk about on the...
Hey,
oh, my God.
I've done it all.
You can talk about it. What is it? Tell us one thing.
Yet. Put in your memoir.
I just thought you
doesn't want to incriminate.
What year is it?
It's 2019, about to be 2020. You could tell it.
I've done it all.
Really?
B&E.
What's B&E?
Breaking and entering.
Wow.
Strong arm home robbery.
Let's
Wow, dude. So... Really? I mean, some people sell drugs and stuff. So
yeah, that too. Bro.
Yo, I mean, it's been times. There's been times when I considered certain things too. You wouldn't think so.
What do you mean you didn't think so? I came from that. Yeah. That's my parents gave me a first row education to that shit.
Oh, wow.
The first time I ever saw cocaine being cut up was my dad teaching me how to do it.
God.
Wow.
When I was a kid, I used to see my dad would sit at the dinner table. Local cops from the police department would come into the house, sit down, play with guns, fucking pulling their gun out, unloading it, and showing it to my dad. My dad showing them fully automatic weapons. I swear on everything that I love. My dad passed away, so I can talk about all this.
Because I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, my dad died a couple of year ago.
Okay.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Hey, you're all safer now that he's gone, so.
These jokes are funny.
Jesus.
I hear that, though. Man.
But, my dad gave my cousin an actual bazooka. He didn't have any rockets for it, but the actual bazooka that slides open, he gave one of those to my cousin.
What in the Taliban was y'all doing out there in South Florida?
My dad's godfather. My dad had a godfather that he was his right hand, and this dude spent 7 years in prison for tax evasion because they found him with.
This is your uncle?
It was my dad's godfather.
Oh, okay.
They found him with $2 million of cash under his bed, and they only gave him 7 years. But he died when he got out, throat cancer. Crazy story.
Oh, jeez.
$1 million? $1 million. What happened to the money?
$2 million. So the cops were able to seize the money, but they weren't able to seize the property. This is actually a piece of information that I got at my dad's funeral. That when they actually excavated my dad's godfather's land, they found over 40 bodies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is this on the news somewhere? Because I want to look it up.
Let's get the phone and Google right now.
No, I'm serious. I'm looking up after this
Herman Medina.
That's crazy. Because I used to be a journalist before this. So
my dad's godfather.
That is nuts.
Wow.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Look at the back.
I feel like the intro music to Narcos is playing in the background.
This is a TV show.
Oh my!
Are you writing this? That would be super dope.
You should include
to write some of this down, to make a show.
I'm Florida educated. I can barely
Episodic.
read and write.
Well, okay. How about you talk and I'll transcribe it. I'll write it for you.
I'm down.
Hey, I'm serious.
Wow,
that's what's
your
up.
comedy show will be interesting, huh?
For real.
What an interesting life, an interesting family. Well, can you joke about those things? Well, they all passed away, so.
I do. No, my mom's still alive.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, my mom's still alive in Florida right now. She get big shout outs. Cachita. Rancel, la madre, la vieja.
He can speak Spanish, Corey.
Oh, you don't speak Spanish?
No.
I didn't know that. I'm not gonna
that's the big thing.
He's New Rican. He's not Puerto Rican.
He's New Rican. Yes.
Look.
That's the thing in New York. We be like, you can't speak Spanish.
Hey, look, I'm Filipino, all right? I'm Asian. I'm not supposed to know Spanish.
The Philippines. You know, I got a pretty interesting view on the Philippines.
They speak Spanish.
No, they speak Tagalog.
Yeah, Tagalog. Yeah.
Wait, what's the one that they also do speak Spanish?
No. They were
I swear.
occupied
Is it
by
Portuguese?
Spain.
No, okay, I'll come back to it. I'll Google it.
She will Google it. How old are you?
Don't worry about it. I'm educated.
So, how messed up is it that they forced the name Philippines onto the Philippines when Filipinos can't say Philippines?
They say
They say Philippines.
Filipino.
They're Filipinos. How do? Come on, the audacity!
Right.
The audacity! That's
we can't pronounce
jacked up.
Oh my God.
Jacked up.
That's funny. That's funny.
That's very cruel.
Yeah, I know.
You're a pretty interesting guest, I might
telling
say.
you.
Very interesting.
So much
and compelling to talk
information.
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost feel like I'm sitting with am I going to be ironic? A vet. But I am sitting with a vet. You get it?
Did
I bomb? That was terrible.
Leave the double entendres.
Oh man, I thought I was going to get I thought you were going to be like, yeah, that was good.
We
You're
laughed.
Like,
Yeah.
You definitely gotta
That was a cringeworthy laugh.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to get... maybe y'all can write my material and I can just deliver it.
Hell no, I can't write my material.
Y'all should give me some jokes, so I'll get up. I'm not shy.
I'll be your ghostwriter.
I get up on the stage. I can deliver it. Y'all just got to write it, and I ain't scared. I'll tell everybody. Somebody wrote these jokes for me.
I'm sure after being around all these comedians,
they're gonna know.
You're gonna jump up there.
Did I pick something
Seriously.
up?
Nah, I feel that.
Because that's how it always happens.
Yeah.
That's how it happens.
Because it's like, I can do that, and then you start doing
I don't
it.
think y'all.
Right?
Some of y'all way too good. I can't do it. It's just intimidating. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think like I can say something. I can have a crucial conversation. I can talk about something, but the way I deliver it, I can't do it. And it's the way you put it. Like you made a joke about the abuse with your mother. I wouldn't know how to do that. You know what I'm saying? But it was like funny at the same time. But it was like, oh shit, should I laugh?
But the thing is, you don't need to talk about that. You didn't experience that.
Yes, I did.
Okay, then you had your own experiences.
Yeah, my mother stabbed my father.
Yo.
She ran outside in a house coat and jumped on top of the car, banging on the window shield. This is in Brooklyn, New York in the 90s, dude.
I'm about to say, where is she? I need to meet her.
Hospital, and my father was driving down the street, and she's on the hood of the car. I was embarrassed as a kid.
Right.
That's why I'm not shy, because I have been all the fuck embarrassed the fuck out since in my youth.
Wow.
All right, so we got 3 minutes. Producer Jacinta tells us we have 3 minutes until now. We segue into our veteran comedian, Jason Stewart. So once they get him online in 2 minutes, which I think they do have him, he'll come up and then we'll introduce him and talk to him a little bit and definitely weave the conversation with you two in. Definitely, for sure. You know,
that's exciting.
So, are we about to do this 2 minutes?
He's going to come off and then the other...
No, he's Skyping in.
Oh.
So we'll see him on the monitor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're going to get him up there.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to put my glasses
So Jason Stewart, I can tell you right now.
So you can see.
Jason Stewart, I can tell you right now, is like, he's been in so many movies, so many TV shows, and he was, what was the one with the guy about the black slave that killed everybody, Nat Turner. Yeah, was it called Nat Turner?
Yeah.
That movie was out like a year, 2 years, something like that, a couple years.
Yeah.
He was in this. He was one of the primary
He was a main
characters.
slave
He was
owner?
amazing. He was a slave owner.
Okay. Oh my God.
He was a slave owner. He was a slave owner. Have you watched the movie? He's prevalent throughout the movie. He's one of the main slave owners.
I've seen.
It's funny. Yo, I'm gonna tell you about when I met him, Jason.
We got 1 minute.
When I met Jason, right? We about to come on with Jason Stewart. I met him at this. It's a station called Reverie, right? But it's like Netflix. So we met there at this thing, and this dude was going around like proud, like I was in Well, it's not called Nat Turner. It's called something else. It's on the list. But anyway, so he was like, and I felt offended that this white man is proud of me. I was in, because I'm like, bitch, you played a slave owner.
Right.
You need to play that proudness down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. But I said, let me. I had to pull myself together, and then we got to talking. We got to become really good friends, and he's a veteran,
super dope,
comic and stuff like that. So
that's when you get an award for a part like that. You got to be on stage with the tears, like. And it doesn't come to me, and I'm no stranger to the fact that this comes on the backs of many painful.
He does.
Blah, blah,
he got
blah.
some interesting stories from on set on that too.
Sure
I'm gonna try to get him to tell. Jason, are you there?
I've been listening to everything you say.
You probably could hear him if you put the headphones on. Corey.
Oh, we don't have headphones.
I know we don't. We supposed to have headphones, but we didn't. If you put it on, you might hear.
I can hear you a little bit. What up,
Jason? You there? Yeah, I think
I'm
you said you're
right
listening,
here.
right?
Yes, I could hear him. What's
You
up,
can hear
Jason?
I'm right here.
Thanks for joining us, bro.
Tell him who you are.
Turn on the volume.
Turn up the volume. Turn up the volume.
You can hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
Could we get one more for
Yeah, can we get
Valentine?
some more? So he's turning up the volume. We got Jason
I'm
on the line.
sorry. You got two more or just okay?
So Jason is on currently right now on Skype on the line, and I'm Valentine. Jason, just so can you see us?
You haven't put on your camera yet.
Oh yeah, we are. I'm waving. Yeah, I'm on there. You just can't. So you can't see us right now. Yes.
Well, you
But
got.
you can hear
It
us.
says Morris Media Studios. You have to press your.
Okay.
You're good. On the opposite
got one
end,
more?
they can't see us.
Well, nobody can see us right now, or no?
No, they can. The viewers can, but
Yeah, so this is
the caller
terrible. We
can't.
need to hurry up. And I can't talk to you. I need to talk to Jason. So Jason, hey, right now it's Valentine.
Okay.
Right now it's Valentine.
Ivana.
Ivana.
You got
Corey Fernandez.
Corey Fernandez, and then you got Petey Rancel over here.
Yeah, Petey Rancel is one of our newer up and coming bright and star comedians that we were interviewing at 8:00 sharp here at Comedic Minds, and we were segueing into talking to you. So we
I
trying
heard
to
you
get
dishing me the whole time. I heard you just saying, "How dare I?"
He heard that.
Of course, I was like, he's
He heard
listening,
that,
right?
He heard it. No, I was telling him about how when I first met you, and I don't think I ever told him that when I first met him, and I remember him saying, "Yeah, I'm in." What's the name of the movie with
Birth of a Nation?
Birth of a Nation, yes.
Called
And he
Birth
was
of
like,
a
"Yeah, I'm in
Nation,"
Birth
and
of a
obviously
Nation."
you weren't listening to a word I said. I said I was very humbled to be a part of the story of the telling of Nat Turner, who was the first black abolitionist to fight back against the white slave owners, of which I had the opportunity to play, the good luck of that. And I was really very thrilled to be a part of telling that story, because my whole life as an actor, I've always wanted to tell stories that change you. It changed from where you sit in the room. And this film was told particularly from the African American point of view, which hadn't been done very often. And what was really interesting to me was doing the press for the film, because a lot of the white journalists kept asking me what my opinion was of what was happening in those days. And I certainly said, just a terrible time in our history. Probably some of the worst. But what I would do is I think what you do is you take off the shoes of your own and you put on the shoes of your black brothers and sisters, and you just shut up and listen. And that's what I told you. But apparently you only heard what you wanted to hear.
Oh, okay. I'll take that. Oh, I can hear now. I got it. That works for me. I'm going to give this to you.
Yeah, for sure.
So you can hear.
Because I think it's important to tell the stories from the point of the view of people who are living today. Because we've had enough stories of other people telling other people's stories. And I think that's what Nate Parker did. Yeah. And I was just really lucky to be a part of that. It's my dreams to be able to tell stories and change somebody's point of view by seeing a film or reading a book or watching a TV show or going to the theater or hearing somebody do some stand-up,
Awesome.
Yes. Move over a little bit, Jason, because we only can see half of your head.
Oh, am I on now?
Yes, you're there. Yay!
I'm in my mom's house in Palm Springs.
Yes.
Say hi, Mom.
I love it.
Can you see us too?
I can't see you, no, because you have to push the button. You just have your logo on.
I don't know what's going on in y'all end, but I don't know.
Right.
Engineering's over there behind you, like.
Apparently, engineering needs to take a class.
Oh Lord! Okay, let's not offend the staff. All right, so Jason, we want to run up some of your credits. All right, just for the. But just some of them, because we have a lot, okay? And I'm proud of you for that, but I definitely want to highlight you so the audience will know.
It's only because I'm old. You know, I've been around a long time.
This is another guy. He is funny. The things he say, you be like, oh, my God.
I see. I'm loving it.
Is that Ivana?
Yes, hi.
Ivana, are you a stand-up comic?
I am.
Do you have a last name, or you just like Cher?
I think right now I'm just liking going by Ivana.
Well, when you're an adult, you'll want to have a last name. So take an advice from an old man. Get a last name.
No.
Cher has a card, a credit card. Someone told me it's a Cher, an individual. What's that? Next will be a they person. I don't know.
That's on her actual bank card?
I did a movie with a person who was a producer who was a they person. And he was a he before, and then he turned into a they. And then he changed his name to Heon. And I thought to myself, if you're going to be a they person, you should change your name to Theon, not Heon. It doesn't make any sense. Heon. That's you're going back to the he. You want to stay with the they. Anyway.
So much.
That's a bit much for me. I have no understanding of that.
I do, but
who is that? That's
funny.
Mr. Valentine.
All right, so just really quickly, some of your television credits, of course, for everybody out there that's watching it and will watch after the episode is aired, is Entourage on HBO with Andre Dice Clay. How was that? And Kevin Dillon.
I played myself in that.
Oh, okay.
Because if people know that show. I played myself. Kevin Dillon's character had become very successful doing a comedy animated series, and I played a character called Doc Hawk in it, and then I also played myself doing it. So they showed us playing doing the actual cartoon. It was a long time ago, so it's hard to remember. But that's what I did in that. I got to work with it's not Andre, it's Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah.
Oh, what did I say? Oh, I said
Andre.
Andre.
Is his brother. His brother.
Oh, yeah. What did you do in America's Most Wanted?
Oh, well, that show, the reason I did that, I wanted to play a detective, and I played it with this wonderful actress, and we did a reenactment. I wanted to play a detective, so I had a tape, so I edited all of the other stuff out of it, so it made it look like I was playing a detective on a show. And then I got a detective part from it.
That's smart.
Oh, you did?
That's smart.
Yeah, I'm in this movie now. I used that tape to get this. I'm in this movie now called Abducted, and I played a detective in it. I played Detective Walter, and that's coming out by the end of the year. It's it's like a B version of Ransom with Mel Gibson.
What platform is it going to be released on? Do you know?
I'm not sure because no one's told me, honestly.
But when it come out, will you invite the Comedic Minds host to come and see it?
Probably not. No.
Oh, Sasa Shady.
I'm thinking, who am I going to bring?
Comedic Minds. That's who you bring.
I don't even know if you're so busy at the gym, not eating and running. And
What did we just say?
Oh, my God. Oh, Lord. I'm just trying
around you, I would just feel bad about myself.
No, you're doing fine.
Hey, you can't see me, but I will say bald is beautiful.
He can see. Oh, you can't see.
Who is that? I like that voice.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Yeah. He's married to a woman.
Well, we've all made some mistakes.
Hey, Jason.
I did Love with Judd Apatow's company. That was his show.
That's
okay.
On Netflix, I did Rob Schneider's show on Netflix, Real Rob. I did Sleepy Hollow on the WB or WC or Fox or one of those shows where they do, TV shows about kids that don't eat. And then this week, tomorrow night, I'm going to be in a film called Hank, and I play the lead character at this film, the Glendale International Film Festival, and I'm nominated for Best Actor in that.
Oh, wow.
All right.
This is
That's super
around the
dope.
15th
Congratulations,
film
man.
festival it's been in. And then I have another film that's opening Wednesday called Immortal. And this film is really cool. It's about these 4 different people, 4 different stories, and none of the people can die. They just they have these terrible accidents, or someone tries to murder them, or they try to commit suicide, or all these. It has an incredible cast. I mean, just so great. Sam Levine from Freaks and Geeks and Inglourious Bastards is in it. Mario Van Peebles is in it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Dylan Baker from Homeland is in it. And then from Mad About You. Oh, God, I can look up her name. She's in it. She's so good.
Listen, Jason, I have a question. You really have done a great job of not just being a funny stand-up comedian, but also transitioning over to being a great...
I'm not transitioning.
Oh, well, okay, well...
Okay.
Oh, Lord, not
Not yet.
I can't...
I respect everybody that
I'm
is,
telling you,
but
yes,
I'm
he
not.
is. But
Tony
to me,
Todd is in the movie. Do you know Tony Todd? He's wonderful. Tony Todd is in it. He's so good. And Robin Bartlett. They're really
okay,
great.
I don't want to hear about everybody else. And I'm trying to ask you a question.
All right, go ahead. Ask me a question.
Yes. So the question is, you are doing a great job, but some comedians have a hard time, I guess, moving from just a stand-up comedian and to include or involve or even transition completely over to an actor or actress or comedic actress or actor and stuff. Well, how was it for you? Was it hard? Was it natural? And
No,
what
not
advice
at all. I never transitioned. I started as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
I started doing stand-up because I couldn't get arrested working in film and television as an actor because I was a gay kid. I didn't have this voice. I didn't have this confidence. I didn't have this accoutrement, and I didn't know who I was. I was in my 20s. I was just trying to figure out who I was. And I had this manager who's since passed, Catherine James. And she said, "You're really funny. You should do stand-up." I said, "You're nuts. I'm an actor." Actor. And I thought I was, the next Robert De Niro in my mind. And so I started doing stand-up, and then I realized you could actually make money doing it. Mm-hmm. So I started touring, and then as a featured act, because I'd already been a comedian for 3 years when I started to tour. And I, after a while, after doing it for a number of years, close to 10 years, I got really depressed, and I thought, God, I can't do this anymore. There's nothing else to talk about because I can't say who I really am. So I decided to come out, and me and my friend Marcy Smolin, she helped me. We wrote a press release, and we sent it by fax in 1993 to all the top daytime talk shows.
Back in the day with fax machines.
And we sent it to Oprah, Phil Donahue, Geraldo, and Sally Jesse Raphael, and Jenny Jones. The biggest show at the time was Dr. Phil. The second one was Geraldo, and the third one was Oprah, and the fourth one was Sally Jesse Raphael, and then Jenny Jones. And Geraldo and Sally Jesse called, and I took Geraldo, and they did a show called Unconventional Comedians, and I came out, and my whole life changed.
For the better, would you say?
I don't know anything else. I can't tell you because what do I know? I don't know. It was 1993. I started doing tons of sitcom. Drew Carey gave me my first guest star on his show. He was a friend of mine. We started out together. He gave me, and he also paid me $1,000 to write a couple of jokes for his book. Wow. He was so nice. I was so broke at the time. And he sent me, I got my first guest star on his show, and then I guest starred on Will and Grace and The Norm Show and all these comedian shows, some that weren't as successful. And then all of a sudden I got a call from Damon Wayans' show, My Wife and Kids, because I had guest starred on John Larroquette's show. Yeah. It was produced by the same guy, Don Rio, and they're all in a room. This is who's in the room. Bruce Fine, Jimmy Valet, who now did Arrested Development, comedian Bruce Fine, Damon Wayans, his cousin, I forgot his cousin's name. He's a producer now. Forgot his sister, Kim Wayans, and Don Rio is big TV producer. And they all said, who could play this gay shrink on the show? And everybody said Jason Stewart. And I got the part. they wrote it very bitchy. And I made it completely different. I played it like he was just happy to be there, and wanted to help. And it was an incredibly brilliantly written scene. And in those days, that you would do a show at 5:30, and then you would tape another one at 7:30. So at 5:30, you do the show exactly as written, and then at 7:30, Damon said, "Okay, now we're going to improvise around the dialogue. Can you do that?" I said, "Oh, sure." He had no idea that was my gift.
Yeah, it definitely is.
If you watch the show online, go Jason Stewart, My Wife and Kids. You will see the first show that I did, and Damon Wayans is not laughing as the character. He's laughing at me. Because I totally cracked him up because he didn't know that was my thing. So he was trying to outdo me. And then I did 4 episodes. You know what's funny is, what was it? There was one episode where I was making a house call, and I went to his, and he wouldn't get out of bed. He hurt his back. And Kim Wayans had written that episode specifically for me. And I'm standing by the bed. The director says, "Okay, you're going to stand by the bed and you're going to talk to him." And then they said, of course, do whatever you want for the next take. So I got into bed with him. Non-sexual.
Oh, my God.
Crossed my legs, and the whole audience screamed. You could always hear Don Rio, the producer, ha, 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 like that. You could always hear him in the laugh track. And it really changed my, it was a big deal at the time, because I played a gay character on a black show, and that wasn't as done. The shows were more separated in those days, and Damon was one of the first shows to incorporate all different kinds of people. And his show certainly was one of the biggest shows for ABC, and a family show. And he did it for 5 years, and I was lucky enough to have been on it for a while.
Yes.
And when sitcoms went out, I became really, really popular doing sitcoms and headlining mainstream comedy clubs. I was the first openly gay comic to headline mainstream comedy clubs and do really well and make money for them.
What was your experience like as a first, I guess, openly gay comic headliner? What was your experiences like at the first couple of shows?
Well, there were a couple of people before me that I want to acknowledge that came before me, but they weren't. They worked more in alternative spaces. They worked some comedy clubs, but not. And I didn't really think about it at the time. I just did it because that's where I'd worked before. Robin Tyler and Michael Greer, the late Bob Smith, Suzanne Westenhofer, Kate Clinton, Leah DeLarie. There were some wonderful, Jaffe Cohen, wonderful comedians came before me and broke the ground so I could even be on this show with you. Mm-hmm. But it was really hard working in mainstream comedy clubs because I was if you weren't a white comic who was Christian in those days, we were the circus people, everyone. I was doing a show in Arkansas with a black comic who was the opening act. I was the featured act. It was the late 80s, I believe. And I remember the headliner was this Southern guy. And he took me aside. He says, "Why does that black guy, every time he gets on stage, why does he say that he's black? Why does he have to do that?" And I said, "Honey, he's scared. It's an all-white audience. He wants to get these people on his side." And he said, "Oh, he didn't get it. He didn't get what it's like to be somebody completely different from the audience that they're not used to seeing in a powerful position. He didn't realize that it's scary for us." I used to come on the stage and I would say, "This show's going to be just a little different." I always had a great opening act line, and he had this great, I wish I could remember the line, but he had this great opening line about being black, something about him being at the comedy club when he was used to be. I don't want to say it because it won't come out right with me, but it was hysterically funny. It was a very sweet guy. And of course, I wish I could remember his name. And all this stuff that I'm telling you is in my book called Shut Up, I'm Talking. Available now on Amazon and from CCB Publishing. But I mean, and then when the comedy clubs fell apart, which is in the mid-2000s, Dane Cook started doing social media on MySpace, and Russell Peters started being the the YouTube comedian, and then Kevin Hart started being the theater comedian. All of a sudden, everything changed, and I didn't know how to get to my fans anymore because I was used to doing local press. I would do I get the cover of the gay magazine. I'd be on the pick of the week in their entertainment, the mainstream paper. They do a story about me. I'd go in and do whatever local TV show. If they did, and I did so much television that I had a show for every network. If it was ABC, CBS, or NBC, I could say it didn't matter if it was a couple years old. They were just thrilled to get anybody that was on TV.
Okay.
So a clip, and I just say, "Oh yeah, I just did that show," and then all of those things sort of dried up, and we didn't know what to do. So I realized that whenever I sat and go, "What do I want to do?" and I always say, "I want to act more. I want to be a great character actor." That's what I've always wanted to do, like Dustin Hoffman or Philip Seymour Hoffman or Morgan Freeman or all these great character actors, Whoopi Goldberg, and I just wanted to play different characters. So I went back to acting class. I worked on my voice for almost 10 years.
What were you working on exactly with your voice?
Lowering my voice. Because I used to get very nervous and I would talk like this and my voice would go up and I would be more feminine. I can't even do it anymore because my voice has dropped so much. But and I worked on my voice. I went back to acting classes. I studied with Ivana Chubbuck and Larry Moss, and I started not stopping playing the funny gay guy, not stopping playing the prissy manager of the hotel, but adding other characters, annoying Jew,
you said annoying
villain,
Jew.
Plantation
so
owner,
funny.
Annoying nightclub owner, whatever I was playing, I just started adding more characters and changing my body, the way I moved, the way I moved my hands, becoming a better film and television actor. And then from that, I got a part on The Closer because my friend Adam Belanoff was a writer-producer on the show, and I've been calling him, and I said, hey, if there's anything for me. And then I realized that there was a part of I played a lot of managers of things. Like I was the manager of a storage facility.
Okay.
And
that's like Jennifer Lewis always says. She always plays everybody's mother.
Well, I played the manager. She played the same thing. Yeah, but she plays the same character all the time.
Yeah.
I always play somebody different. This not that one's better or worse. She's brilliant. It's just different kind of a thing. So I played this Jewishy guy that was the manager of a storage facility, and all of a sudden I was playing Jews. That got me Tangerine, which went to Sundance Film Festival, that Oscar nominee and Tony winner John Lithgow was in, and the brilliant Fred Molina, and the Oscar winner Marissa Tomei, and I had one great part in this movie, and then I went to do Tangerine, the movie that was done on the iPhone, and then I got Birth of a Nation.
How was that experience? I meant to ask about Tangerine because I've seen it on Netflix, and I understand that like one of the executive producers is a black trans woman, and I mean I think that was like such an amazing feat, and it got really great reviews. So how was that experience?
Well, I knew. What's so funny is I knew Amaya, or she knew me because I volunteered at the LGBT center.
Dope.
And she was basically homeless and working on the streets. And Kiki, the other gal, who's the blonde Hispanic gal, totally working. And Kiki's still on the streets. This is a woman who was nominated for Best Actress for a Spirit Award, who's now working on the streets and a drug addict today. Wow. And we tried. Everybody tried. I mentored both of these girls, much more Maya, and I still keep in touch with Maya. She lives in North Dakota with her husband, and she was in the Diet Club on TNT or AMC, I can't remember, and she just did this other film, I can't remember the name of it, that's going to come out soon, and she had a recurring role on the other show, and she's done we did a couple indie films together, and she's wonderful, and she's actually has a life now, and she's taking care of herself, and she was the first trans woman of color or a trans woman at all to win a Spirit Award for Best Supporting Actress at the Spirit Awards, which is the independent film. And I really held her hand through a lot of things because Sean Baker, the producer, called me, and director, producer, writer of the piece, called and said, hey, can you help? She's scared half to death. She's never done this before. And I had done, as a comedian, you have to know how to go into a radio show, go into a television show, and be able to do bite-sized lines so they can promote your show. If you don't do it, I remember working The Last Laugh in San Jose, and I was the opening act, and they said, "Hey, do you want to come to the radio show with us?" I said, "Yeah." And I was scared. I'd never done a radio show before. And I thought, and they were talking, and they said, "Oh, this comedian last week, she wasn't very good on the radio, great on stage, but not great. She couldn't do anything but her act." And I thought, "Oh, I better learn how to be good at this so I can come back." So I just listened. I listened. I watched, and I worked probably too hard. People don't like people to work hard. They like to come to you.
So, just from this is Petey Rancel. What's going on, brother? How are you?
Hey, Petey. You're the married guy, right?
Yes, I am.
How old are you, Petey?
How old am I? 34. I'll be 35 next month.
I'm sure she'll make a lovely first wife.
Heavens.
Anyway.
Yes. And last, because if I do get divorced, that's it for me. But no, she's amazing. She's my best friend.
God bless her. I'm sure she's wonderful.
Thank you. So I heard you mention something about voice and movement. That you started taking the voice and movement classes and focusing primarily on that as your means to sharpen your techniques.
Well, I stay with Ivana Chubbuck, which is all about action. And if you go to my my show, Shit I Love with Jason Stewart, my podcast that I do once in a while, I just did an interview with her. And she's all about action. So she was about going after things in the scene and not trying to be funny or trying to be dramatic, about going after things. The voice and the movement is something I did. And then when I started doing Larry Moss, everything was total character. Totally, you know. I remember Yvonne and I were talking. I did a scene in her class from Marty, which is the Patty Chayefsky play. It was the first independent film that Ernest Borgnine did that won Best Picture in the early 50s. And it was the first film ever that was an independent film that was that big of a success. And it's about this lonely guy, and Betsy Blair, I think, was the other actress. And he won the Oscar. It won Best Screenplay and Best Picture and Best Actor. And he plays this really lonely butcher. And he talks like this. He's from New York, and I did this whole part, and I started working on it. You know, this person, and I just all of a sudden I was just somebody different than I was, and I just, you know, I was sweet and kind, and you know, whatever I could do. And then she said, "How did you do that? How did you drop completely who you are?" And I didn't even do it well now because it's something you have to go into because the guy's also not as intellectual as I am as a person, more emotional, more blue collar even than I am.
Oh my God!
You know, I come from a blue collar background, but so she said, "How did you do that? How did you play a straight person so well?" And I said, "Well, you know, it's acting, and that's who I am when I'm with somebody. I'm sweet and I'm kind and." I'm not walking around going, "Hey, girl," you know. I don't do that when I'm having sex with somebody. I don't go, you know. That's not who I am. Yeah. And she said, "God, I really learned something. This is a side of you that wasn't that hard to do. It's even with Birth of a Nation. People said, was it hard to play a Southern, you know, plantation owner?" I said, "No. I read the script once and said, that's it. I can't read this script again." Because it's 2015 when I shot it, and I'm, you know, a gay liberal Jew, and this is a white heterosexual Christian plantation owner in 1831. I can't know what he did. I can't think about it, and I can't have it in my head. So each scene I broke down. What do I want? I'm here to mentor Armie Hammer, who's younger. I'm here, and I don't look at black people. I don't think about them. I have to pretend they're like pieces of furniture. You know what I mean? I have to completely not think about it. And when I said the N-word, I just thought of it. I said, I'm just saying the color red. And that's what I did. So I basically tricked myself. And then when I saw the movie, I was so upset. I started to cry through the whole. I mean, I couldn't, you know, it's like that kind of pig cry, you know, the one you're embarrassed.
Yeah.
It was so hard to watch myself because I didn't want to know what my character did. I changed the way I walked.
Jason,
had a
tell us
stance
about
me. I let my pelvis pull me. And
Jason.
Nate Parker said to me, if you hesitate to say it
Jason.
again, if you do anything, I'm going to yell, cut. You have to say it like you said it every day in your life. And I'd never said it other than being in the car listening to Snoop Dogg. And
Jason.
Hey, Jason, can you hear?
Can you hear me?
Sorry about that.
I didn't for a minute. No, I didn't hear you at all.
That's so weird. Okay.
I know, so listen, tell us about. I know you mentioned something about a little girl in the scene for the Birth of a Nation movie, and it was like you could hear a pin drop. Tell that story. I remember you telling me that one time.
Oh, so there's a scene in the movie where I'm meeting Nate Parker and Armie Hammer for the first time. And there's this little, and then I think it was the second scene when I'm saying goodbye to them because they stayed at my plantation owner, and there's a white girl who I believe was Armie's sister in the film.
Yeah.
And there's a little black girl who was the house slave's daughter, and they were playing some game where the young black girl had a leash on her head, on her neck, and they were just skipping, and it was just like. Oh my, and I couldn't see anybody because it was behind me, and I remember it just, I'm bald, but I had hair in the movie, but the hair on the back of my neck just stood up. I could feel the pain of everything that happened in this place. I could feel the what had happened in Savannah. There was this thing that just came up and that washed over me. And I just broke down and I cried afterwards. It was just so awful. And everybody on the set, you could feel it. It was just this little moment, but it was like somebody said, "Oh, thank God, we're not there anymore."
Mm-hmm.
It's just so hard.
Yeah.
That was the hardest moment for some reason.
Yeah. Listen, I want to say this is the second episode, but the first episode where we kind of with you guys with the setup that I imagined, that I envisioned, right? Mm-hmm. Where we had the newer up and coming comedian and a more seasoned veteran comedian. And I would have to say that you guys are really giving me what I wanted.
Oh, great.
Like you really are. Yeah. Because I happen to know Jason. He's a friend of mine, and he's just as captivating in person. Like you get quiet, you just listen to these stories, and it just draws you in. You hear the wisdom and experience of his life pouring out.
Yeah.
And
that's exactly the way my book is called. Shut Up, I'm Talking. Available on Amazon.
Yes, the book. Shut Up, I'm Talking. And he's just, I just sensed that, and then listening to you, it was exciting, and you could hear the it's like that young energy in you, and like, oh, I'm gonna conquer the world, I'm doing this, you know what I'm saying? But in him, you could sense that more settled energy of wisdom, and maneuvering around, and this in the seasoning on top of it all, that where you guys are on your way too, I'm on my way too, but not as a comedian. But you see what I'm saying? Yeah. And I love the fact that. And I hope this happens every time where the newer comedian was so engaged that you started asking the veteran questions, and things. I felt like in that moment he said something that connected, that made you want to engage more, and you don't know Jason, and you got to meet him through Comedic Minds.
Anybody, please ask me any questions you want, guys in the room. Please, if anything pops up, I'd be happy to answer.
So my question is, with someone, because I'm new to the game. I've only been doing comedy for a little bit over 4 years, and I feel like I'm funny enough to where I want to get on more platforms, and I think that I will produce if I'm put on other platforms. What would be a platform, or what would be a good way to find representation to get me to those platforms?
Oh, yes.
Well, first time, you're 4 years old and I'm 36 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our difference.
Yeah.
And how much time do you have?
I have solid. I have 28 minutes of solid. I have 35, 36 of workable, and I can hold my own with crowd work. I can do a strong 40 minutes.
And where are you working?
Atlantic City. I'm one of the resident comedians for AC Jokes.
So that's really great because you get to work there all the time, and it's different audiences.
Yep.
And you know that these Atlantic City, Vegas, Reno, these kind of places are somewhat, and God, whoever's listening, they're somewhat racist.
They are.
Have to do old school jokes because, God, I hate saying this on the air, but my experience is, I'm just saying my experience, is that the people who come to these clubs are not the most educated people anymore. It's more of families who are taking their big 1-year vacation and they've got all these discounted deals. People come to the clubs wearing flip-flops and shorts and tank tops, and it's just shocking. When I first started, people would dress up to come to a club. Now, if they're wearing pants, you're lucky. So that's the audience that you have your experience with. What I say to you first before you start wanting to do, when you say other platforms, you mean television?
Yes.
Before you start doing that, I think you start experiencing other clubs that are not, like Comedy Central is forever all about straight men and pretty girls. Very rarely will you see a woman on their channel that isn't pretty, that isn't already famous from something else. Everybody's under a certain age, so you have to be able to do stuff that's not so obvious, that's not so easy, because those audience won't laugh at that. I always say I'm a 90% comedian. There's 10% that could go really so wrong, but I'm professional enough and old enough that I don't care. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
Once in a while I'm thrown off guard. Well, when I worked at Brad Garrett's room in Vegas, it used to be the MGM Grand. I think it's called the Signature now. I was so surprised at the intellectual level of the people. I have to say, I started doing old jokes that I hadn't done in years. So you just never know. And I think, where do you live?
I live in Atlantic City right now, but I'm going to be bi-coastal come February.
Well, New York is the biggest. I think New York is a much bigger comedy venue, than L.A. No, L.A. probably has 6 major clubs. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 clubs, major clubs. So, and New York has like 20 or 25. So you can get to New York all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm running. The thing is that I'm getting the time in Atlantic City that I'm not going to get in New York. In New York,
right.
if you get 8 minutes, if you get 8 minutes in New York, and you do 5 spots in a night, you're killing the game. But that's 40 minutes. I'll do that in 2 shows.
Right.
I do 20 minutes per spot.
I'm hearing that from you. But what I'm really hearing from you is that this is your safe spot there.
Yes.
But you got to be able to do a short 8-minute set for some TV guy with the way they want it done because they think they know. And they'll tell you, even though you work and you know your act better than they do, they think they know how you should do it on TV. So you need to go into New York and find somebody, or LA. You need to, whatever it is that's happening with you, right now is the time. This is the time for people of color. This is the moment. But the downside of that is that you have to make sure that you're not doing the same thing that everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
You got to have, like, there's a bit that I do about my mom wearing high heels on the beach. Now, nobody does that bit.
Yeah.
Nobody has my mom. And I have a Jewish mom that's funny, but nobody has that. Nobody has a bit when we talk about driving in my Prius and driving, moving back to Palm Springs and her saying her life's over. What should I do? Mom, you're doing the water. I'm on the radio. Sorry.
Fucking up the workflow.
Right.
But nobody does a bit where my mom says, I say, Mom, remember Marta? You should look her up. She was your old friend. She says, I can't. I had sex with her husband.
Oh my God.
And I said, really? Was it a one-time thing or was it an affair? And she goes,
there she is.
I don't remember. Welcome to my childhood. Right. So nobody has, those are the things that you want to do that are part of uniquely you.
Mm-hmm.
They're the hardest things to get. Because what happens in a room with an audience, you know, Mom, you're on the radio right now without a bra.
I can't. Y'all are so funny here.
She said, "Who cares?"
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, you want it because comedy is the whole idea of comedy is going into a room and you all got that. Who cares? We all have a group experience together.
Yeah.
Right? You know, we're all different ages, we're different races, we're different religions, we're different sexual preferences, we're different. We live in different parts of the country. We have different political beliefs. You know, there's all sorts of things that are. But when we can all get together and laugh at the same thing, that's what people do. That's what you want. But and it's easier to do it when you do something that everybody knows. It's been done before. You hear somebody saying, black comedians say a lot, I beat my kids, white people don't do that. Well, that's not true, but that's a thing that they do in comedy clubs. Am I correct a lot?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Damon Wayans used to do a brilliant bit about it, but this is 25 years ago. Now, I've seen tons of people do that bit. Now, they do their own take on that bit, or you see a lot of women do a bit about Korean nail people.
Yeah.
You know, you see, and they do their take on it. Mm-hmm. It's, you know, but it's still not an original bit, and it's not an original idea, and it doesn't set you aside. And that's what you want to do. Like I can, you know, do. There's a lot of gay comedians, not as many certainly as black comedians or Jewish comedians. You know, there's not as many of us, especially male, that have been able to move in this world. There's still that stigma, but you know, there's jokes I can do. You know, I do a joke. I say, I read in the paper the other day that only 1% of this country is gay, and if that's true, I've slept with everyone. Now that's an original joke, right? You never heard that, but the concept of it is that gay guys sleep around.
Yeah.
And that's a concept that people seem to think that we're promiscuous. But so that's a group joke where everybody gets it. What, Ma?
That's right, Ma. I'm with you, Ma. Because gay men are very I mean, we men. It's true. That don't have to deal with, you know, all of a sudden, no threat of pregnancy. And we ain't got to court nobody. Motherfuckers is just fucking. All right, but anyway, that's aside.
Can you say the F word on your show?
I did. This is not the daytime show. This is not C Squared. This is after dark conversation.
Use bad words.
Listen, oh my God, I'm so grateful for this conversation.
So to my other young comedian, so you have to start putting together your set. I don't know your work, but you have to start thinking about that so you don't become this Vegas comedian.
Yeah. Now, I will say this.
That's hard not to do in that environment. You know, it says, tell me your name again. Forgive me.
Petey Rancel.
So it says Petey Rancel, and then under you it says craps in the lobby, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
It's the oldest Vegas joke, right? Craps in the lobby. Petey Rancel, you know, shrimp $4.99. You know, all you can eat. Petey Rancel, you know, they put those things in right under. There's the free food, right?
Yeah.
And you know, that's Vegas. Everybody does that joke, you know, or something like that, or Atlantic City or Reno or whatever it is. These casinos. And I do some of them too, but I only like to do one night.
For sure.
Well, if you ever want to come out to Atlantic City, please let me know. We'd love to have you.
I do. Hire me.
Yeah.
I'll give him your number. I'll give him your number before he leaves.
Give him my number.
I
have
will,
my website.
definitely.
I haven't been to Atlantic City in a million years.
Yeah.
I had a terrible, terrible experience there.
Everyone's had at least one terrible experience
I
there.
ever headlining. It was that, I think it was the Tropicana. And this guy that ran the room would hire 3 comedians. I was hired as a headliner, but then he would switch the show around and switch the order. And sometimes it would work, and it didn't matter that you were the headliner. You were paid what you were paid, but they'd switch it around.
Oh my God.
It was sort of crazy. It was me, Martha Jane Uran, and Howard Feller, who was this crazy comedian that slept like 14 hours a day in the comedy condo. And we would go into his room. It was a snowstorm that week. We went into his room to see if he was still alive. It was, you know, those are what comedians do, you know. But Petey, I'd love to work with you.
Yeah, please. I'll definitely get your contact information and we'll link up.
Comedic Minds, bringing comedies together.
Connected talent.
Yeah.
Jason, hey, it's Corey. Can you hear me?
Hey, Corey.
What's going on? Same thing
Corey.
with. I'm sorry, my headphones are going on. Okay, now I can hear you. But yeah, same thing.
Corey,
like
what's your last name?
Fernandez.
Okay. Do I know you? You sound so familiar.
I don't know if we met. I don't think so.
Okay. What's your question, caller?
No, I just really enjoyed hearing your testimony, and I really appreciate it as well. And do you have anything coming up, and where can everyone find you if they want to look
Everything
you up?
is at jasonstewart.com, STUART. I'm actually doing a couple casinos. I'm going to work with Vicky Barbarack for one night. She's a really good friend of mine. I'm going to open for her at Jimmy Fallon's club. She's the gal that was the trailer trash comedian. She used to open for me. Then I'm going to go in just for one night to have fun in Vegas. And I'm doing a casino in Mesquite. And I'm doing some things in L.A. And I'm also speaking.
In Mesquite, Texas?
Yeah, no, Mesquite, Nevada. It's a casino called
Oh, okay. I'm from Dallas. I was like, wait, you going to Mesquite? That was so random.
I made a movie there. You people are nuts.
Dallas is crazy. Yeah, it is. No, it is.
It's so class oriented, isn't it?
Well, this is the South for sure.
I was there 5 weeks making a movie once.
Did you like the food in Dallas?
Pardon me?
Did you like the food?
Oh, I'm sure I did.
Yes, it's amazing.
Texas food is great.
Yes.
If you want to die of a heart attack by Thursday.
Of course.
And
but you'll die happy, for sure.
Talking about food, Mom's is in the background getting it in.
Going
Oh, yeah, we see her, yeah.
Like,
she just wants to, she's eating her, what is it, Jerry Garcia?
Yeah, fro yogurt.
Fro yogurt.
Okay.
That
sounds
sounds
some ice
good.
cream or something.
That sounds
That's
good.
I'm lactose intolerant, can't do it.
I'm sorry.
What flavor is it?
Bro. Yeah.
Froyo.
Cherry Garcia.
Jerry Garcia.
Oh, that's the
Cherry
flavor?
Garcia.
Yeah, I don't know what Cherry
That's the Ben and
Garcia.
Jerry's
cherry, yeah.
flavor.
Ben and Jerry's.
Oh.
You should be getting some money now. We're talking about it. She's eating her second.
This is brought to you by Ben and Jerry's.
Actually, when I used to drive trucks, I used to pick up ice cream from them.
Oh, yeah?
Every time I'd go there, they'd give me 3-4 quarts.
Free?
Yeah.
Damn. Jason, so you'll also be at Comedic Minds live comedy show.
Oh my God! Yes,
December
at Sal's
5th.
Comedy Hole in West Hollywood, California. Yeah,
That's right, December
and my friend
5th.
Paul Alaya, who's a Middle Eastern comedian
Yes.
from Michigan, is going to be there, and Scott Krinsky, who was on Chuck for 5 years.
Well,
And then I'm going to put out some calls to a couple other women that I'm going to have.
Yes, definitely.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to having you for sure.
Yeah.
You always got a home over here.
Super cool.
Your mom left the scene. She left, right?
Right, she just didn't like your attitude.
She heard what you said about
About her son earlier.
Oh my goodness.
When are we doing it? What night is it again? Tell everybody.
December 5th.
Which is a
Thursday. December, everybody got a calendar. December 5th. Thursday, December 5th. Comedic Minds live comedy show. Headliner Jason Stewart.
And
That's going to be fun.
Yes.
Their tickets.
And I really love that place because you can not only see comedy, but you can have a great
Crucial Conversations on TV.
Say it louder. So what
I was waiting until he finished talking.
Okay, sorry.
You try to.
You can RSVP at crucialconversations.tv.
That
you
is
can
the
find the
stupidest
event on
email
Eventbrite as
ever.
well. Huh?
Who can spell crucial? Number one.
Not me.
Oh Lord, Crucial
I
Conversations.
can't.
Well, go on Facebook and find
spell
Crucial Conversations. CRUCIAL Conversations with the
Ivana,
S.
don't you think it's too much?
No, that's the name of this program. And Crucial
Well, obviously,
Conversations.
you guys went to college.
Who's y'all?
Comedic Minds.
Who's y'all? I went to
Just
the
look it up. Petey went to the military. He went to the Marines.
College.
I would do anything with Petey. I love his voice.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but you can't see him. He look.
Get me booked. I'm out there. I'm down.
See.
I'm not. I mean, not.
Yeah.
not
Hey,
not for everything. I said
No,
get
no.
me booked.
Well, no. Listen, let me. I know
Get me booked.
he is very flirty, but he's harmless. And then when you a grown ass man, just tell him motherfucker, no, I ain't gay. He's good. He understand.
I got thick skin, bro.
Yeah, everybody don't. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands. Yeah, I get it. Let a motherfucker know he's harmless. But yeah,
Let me see. I'm also doing well, I don't want to promote any of the shows I'm doing in LA since I'm working for you, but I'm doing, this is national, I'm assuming, and anything you want to know about me, you just go to jasonstewart.com, and it's spelled Stuart. And of course, I would love all of you in this room to buy my book and give me a review on Amazon. Now, I know who buys the book, because my publisher tells me. So if I don't hear anybody,
Do you have any other platforms other than Amazon?
yes, it's CCB Publishing, Barnes and Noble. It's everywhere.
CTB Publishing?
Mom, I'm on a radio. I don't have to talk low.
Talk lower. You're being
He's
too
about to be like, I gotta go to bed, guys.
Why are you so loud?
She doesn't even care that I'm on the radio.
Right? Did she walk away again?
Yeah, she's over it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm at her place in Palm Springs now.
do you talk about your mother? Do you include her
Oh
in
my
your
God,
comic
yes.
and your stand up comedy?
Yeah, definitely. If anybody's listening in Palm Springs, I'm going to be at the Quad Z Video Bar. They're doing a retrospective of my career,
Oh,
the
cool.
Filmmakers Gallery. And then also in Palm Springs on December 17th on Sunday at noon, I'm going to be doing a book signing at a bookstore called Just Fabulous. And then I'm doing your show. And then I will be in Ontario at the Improv on December 17th.
Nice.
I'll be at the Ventura Harbor Comedy Club at January 9th.
Oh, we're already into next year. You booked up, huh?
Not really, just a couple things.
He's
Not like I used to be. I used to work.
A lot of these shows, you got to book them out like 6-7 months ahead of time.
Why so far ahead?
Because that's just people book them like they. I know comedians that know where they will be on September 22nd next year.
That Chocolate Sunday show you were talking about, that show was booked like 2 years in advance.
Yeah. I heard Chocolate Sundays is booked 2 years in advance.
Yeah.
Jesus
Wow.
Christ. So what happened if you get sick?
That's insane. They got to get their ego in check.
That's what I mean, I don't know about ego, but yeah, 2 years out, that's a lot.
But the thing is that, all right, they also have, I've never been there, from what I understand, they have some comedians that are repeats a
Yeah,
lot.
they do. Yeah.
So
So how they get to repeat if it's a waiting list for a long time?
It's
Who you know?
It's everywhere. Ask him. You heard all his
yeah.
credits. Every single one of those credits was like, yeah, this dude knew me, so they put me in. This dude knew me, so they put me on. This person
It's
knew this
Pookie
person.
who
that.
does it, right? Pookie.
Yeah, exactly.
I forgot whose manager he used to be. I think
What?
he was the comedy act, Robin Harris. I think he has a connection to that. I was the only, me and Dave Parker were the only white guys that used to do the comedy act in the 80s. It's because I was on Star Search and I lost to, I won one show and then I lost to Martin Lawrence and then I stamped my foot and I walked off. You think I'm kidding? I thought it was so funny. And they would give your review, they would give you your intro rather, and you'd give it to Ed McMahon, right?
Oh my
And
God!
I thought it was so. This is how nuts I was. I thought it was so. He said, "Where are you from?" I said, "Tell him I'm from Holly Rock." Do you remember the Flintstones?
Yes.
So like Anne Margaret, Stoney Curtis. So you add a rock. So Ed McMahon is on the show going, and here's Jason Stewart from Holly Rock, California. He had no idea what he was talking about. It was hysterical. I think he was just so drunk he didn't care.
Oh my goodness!
That's hilarious. That's awesome.
Well, Jason, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it, man. Yeah. You got to come back again, yeah?
We have been on almost an hour.
Yeah. See? That's good conversation.
Yeah.
Good conversation.
Send me my
Time
check.
flies.
Send me my check.
Yes, when you engaging, you know what I'm saying? The audience is not thinking about, I've been sitting here for 45, 50 minutes. They just watching.
No, because they've hung up already. That's
They put it on pause. They said, I'll come back later.
I can't. I'm watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah. But listen, you got to come back. Maybe next time when you're in town, actually come by and grace us here at the table.
Okay.
Definitely we'll see you on December 5th. And, man, I love you. Thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
All right.
Thank
And
you.
when we're together, don't stand so close to me because you're so perfect. Your body is so perfect. It just I can't take it. It just my self-esteem just drops.
I'm trying to hold it. Every time I see him, he be making jokes. When he came, actually was on the talk show, and he'd be like, "Oh, you don't eat." He just go in.
He eats. I saw him inhale 2 hot dogs.
Yes, I eat.
In 3 seconds.
Did you? Well, I'd like to see that too.
Wait, what?
He said, "I'd like to see that too."
Oh, damn it!
He doesn't like old men that are 10 pounds overweight. Okay, 12.
I know, right? Comedians go in.
You can't talk shit with a comedian.
Yo, I got a slick mouth, but when it comes to comedians, I
like
cut
to
it
see that one
short
too.
because I could never what they call it, play the dozen. Oh, you guys! Oh my! All right, we gotta go, Jason. You done get him up. I can start it up in here. All right, Jason. I'm gonna talk to you later.
Hey,
Take care, everyone. God bless.
Thank you. I'm gonna give Petey your number.
Please give Petey my number. For sure, I'd love to do that.
Yes, for sure.
Tell Mom we said
if he
good
doesn't
night.
care, I'll know. If he doesn't call me, I know he doesn't give a shit. Okay, take care.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, take care, bro.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
That was truly
awesome.
a treat right there.
Yeah, he's dropping jewels, man. I appreciate it. You know,
Some
I'm trying to bridge the gap. Am I doing a pretty good job? I don't know.
Yeah, this is only episode 2. So
Yeah, man. And the first actual episode where we focused, because last time it was like a party.
It was.
I mean, I had a good time. It was
That was a
awesome.
great
Yeah.
introduction. I had fun.
But yeah, I was like, we got to try to pull this together. You know. Yeah, champagne. You know, the caterer's call was blowing up. The owner was blowing me up on early this week. And I'm like, what the hell? So I picked up the phone. He's like, oh, Valentine? Like, yes. He was like, oh, I'm sorry. We have 9 bottles here that we didn't bring. So 9 bottles, 4 wine and the rest champagne or something like that. And I don't drink. So I was like, oh, I don't know. I'll come get it eventually. So y'all want me to get it and bring it?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I was thinking I should have. You don't drink?
I don't drink. I smoke my
Oh,
drinks.
good. Because I was going to feel guilty because I was going to bring them to give them every guest. I'll give you a bottle, but you don't drink, so I feel better. I feel better now.
But next time, bring me a blunt. I'm down.
I don't buy weed. One of them, get one of them. They do. Y'all bring it. He do.
This man got the mind.
Corey will hook you up.
He got my mind comedically crucial before the show. Yes.
Y'all funny. They talking about getting right or smoking weed before the show. And
Which is legal in California,
yeah,
so
it is.
y'all got a problem with it.
All right, so
with the commissioner.
So I'm so very straight laced. And I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do any of those things. That stuff like that throws me off. I'm like, what? Because I'm never really. I mean, I work corporate. I don't ever think about those things. So when you guys said, "Oh, we have time to smoke weed," I was like, "What the fuck?"
Oh no! Hey,
but it hit me, and I was like, "Yo, this is part of their thing, but this is the thing. This is part of the process." Yo, you being a stick up them, take your ass in the back and be quiet. That's what I was thinking. Let them live.
If this was the first time I smoked, I'd have been in here.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's how it starts off. In the beginning, I'm like, yeah, I got to get my mind right. Mm-hmm. Then you step outside and you smoke, and we're just staring at each other like, so what's going on, bro?
Yeah.
And he's looking back at me like, chilling, what's going on?
Right. What's your name, man?
Ain't shit happening but getting high.
We're just stuck.
Hey.
But but like he said, man, we're patience.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, patience. Okay.
He's like, yeah.
Man, Petey, I appreciate you coming by today. I think it was meant in the stars.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? For Jacinta to find you out there and be like, yo, he's interesting,
That's how you get discovered.
Absolutely.
Somebody sees you doing your thing, and that's
true.
Literally all it was. She came to a show, she saw me do my thing, and then right after the show ended, she came up to me and she was like, "Yo, you got a card?" Something.
That's how I met these two. I saw them on a show, and I was like, "Oh, yo." Mm-hmm. Yep, and the rest is so far so good, Let's try to keep this solid. So we get you one more host and I can get the hell on. Maybe one more host. What you think gonna say? I'm not leaving. I am leaving. One more host, and I'll be like, all right, y'all good? Y'all good?
Like you'd still be here.
Then you're gonna just see a show for 2 hours of us just stoned up here like.
Right? Just run up to
Oh, Lord, I'll be like,
Well,
no.
I mean, you did definitely take charge of the conversation.
Yeah.
Well, I have to because they're a little hesitant. They still training wheels because why you not? You got to start talking. You got to start
Well,
talking.
I'm new. I wasn't supposed to. So that
right?
was
Yeah.
stories.
But look at y'all. They like not me.
No,
but
I just never like to step on toes, and you was on a roll, and I want it to flow. So if it's flowing, I just let you flow.
Nah, I told you I was going to just say the introduction and a little. Oh Lord, look at the
She been
from
there
more
for a minute.
competition
Let's go right
and live
into
shows.
Yeah.
All right, so
Does he know about it too?
Yeah, he know.
I know about it. You want me to throw it out?
Yeah, go ahead. He going. Oh, God, yeah.
I got you.
All
you.
right.
So, Crucial Conversations and Comedic Minds is doing a comedy show on November 25th.
No.
I told y'all we do smoke.
You
weed
know
around
what
here.
it is. All right.
November
So
what?
October 24th is the first show.
October 24th.
The first show is October 24th. Comedic Minds live comedy show. So Comedic Minds, the podcast, has a spinoff, the live comedy show, Comedic Minds live comedy show. And at the first show, the headliner is Junior de Guzman and a beautiful young Russian comedian. Female who is also oh God, I'm going blank. A Playboy model, yes, and she's really funny. Her name is Irina. I can't pronounce her last name, so I ain't even gonna try to fuck it up.
Irina Alphabet.
Oh my God,
So many letters.
And we're gonna try to get her. She does a lot of letters. It is. I'm gonna try to get her to come up to the podcast as well. The competition also, which lovely Jacinta is making sure that I say the competition. So listen, we have a competition going on for the first 3 shows, which is October 24th, November 7th, and then November 21st. Okay, so on October 1st, the audience will choose 2 comedians to move on, where you will compete. To move on, and then on the November 7th, we'll choose 2 more. Mm-hmm. On November 21st, all 4 will come back to compete, where the celebrity judges will decide which one wins the grand prize of $500. A guest appearance to come on for the November 26th release of the C Squared Talk Show with some special guests. And also come here on Comedic Minds Podcast and have a great conversation with us.
Damn it.
All right? So that's just the first competition. After that, we might think of something new, fresh, and exciting. And submissions. Oh, my God. Submissions. Yeah. To submit. To be considered. To be on a part of the contest. You will submit your submissions at Jacinta@vsnt.com. JACINTA@vsent.com. Jacinta@vsent.com. Okay, so you submit your bio, a link to where we can see you performing, all the information that you have, so Jacinta doesn't have to reply and tell you you're missing this and you're missing that. Because that will definitely probably hold up you from getting a spot to be on a part of the competition, and somebody else who did submit everything they would needed to submit will kind of, supersede you. So just make sure you submit that information as soon as possible so we can go ahead and give you a call and let you know the good news that you're a part of the competition, and we can have a good old time. All right? Nice. So please, we're about to check out now. I want to say thank you to our... You want to say something?
Yeah, real quick, guys. Please, I am begging you. Follow me at Petey Rancel on Instagram. I need that.
Yes, Petey Rancel.
You got anything coming up that they should look out for?
Yeah, just come out to Atlantic City. I work out there 5 days a week. You can find me on the schedule at acjokes.com. And if you follow me on Instagram, I will put up whatever shows I'm going to be on.
Listen, when you come back, whenever you back, holla.
I got you.
Seriously, holla when you come back. All right, and you want to say bye? I want to say anything before we go?
No, I had fun, man. I like this episode. I know that, I wasn't letting y'all talk throughout the whole thing.
You talk so much.
I know, bro.
Yeah.
I'll try to tone it down next time.
Well, we'll all be back next week.
Thanks for coming out, guys. Petey, thank you for coming, bro.
Yes, Petey.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes. Thanks for having me. Again, I really appreciate it as well, y'all. Again, I'm Ivana. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Hey I'm Ivana. So it's at Hey I'm IVANNA. All right.
Yes. And Corey fucking Fernandez.
It's
no
exactly
E in Corey, no G in fucking.
Okay.
On Instagram.
And really quickly before we go out, next week, please tune in next Monday, 8 o'clock, where Isaiah Kelly will be here. He is definitely a young vet.
Nice.
That's a great way to put it. Isaiah Kelly will be here. All right, so tune in. It'll be all of us back again, except for Petey. He'll be back in Jersey. Yep. But you should Skype in sometime, for real.
Yeah, I got you.
Like, yo, you part of the fam now, yo.
I appreciate it.
For real. They got smoking buddies, and he got a smoking buddy now. Because I don't smoke, so I felt like, we lost that bond.
By the time I come back, he's gonna have like a weed chain hanging from his
Of course.
He's gonna be hot.
He's gonna tell us his favorite strain.
Yeah, he's gonna have a rock.
Just sit in the back chicken head like, not him, trust me. Like, I can't do it. All right, you guys, thanks for tuning in this Monday at 8. See you next week, Monday at 8 with Isaiah Kelly. This is Comedic Minds. Peace out.
Have a good night.
Crucial conversations, comedic minds. Put them both together and what do you get? The most productive and impactful smack talking session ever. Now let's put our minds together.